I told off my father-in-law for making my wife serve him pie hours after her emergency surgery. My wife Rachel lost her mom 3 weeks ago. It wasn't peaceful. Rachel was there giving her CPR while we waited for the ambulance. The paramedics tried everything, but she was already gone. Rachel's dad, Phil, took it really hard. He kept calling Rachel every few hours, crying and saying he didn't know how to live without his wife. Rachel was dealing with her own grief, but kept comforting him anyway because that's just who she is. The funeral was exactly 1 week after her mom died. It was exhausting and emotional, and by the end of it, Rachel looked completely drained. The next morning, she woke up complaining about stomach pain. I thought it was just stress from everything, but by noon, she was doubled over crying. We went to the emergency room and they said her appendix was about to explode. She had to have emergency surgery that night. Everything went fine, but she was in serious pain afterward. The doctor said she needed to rest for at least a week and absolutely no heavy lifting or bending. The next day, my parents brought over dinner for us and our 3 kids. They called ahead and said they were just dropping off food, not staying. Rachel somehow got it in her head that this was going to be a family dinner and invited her dad and her sister's family too. When my parents arrived and found out Rachel had invited more people, my mom pulled me aside. She said they only brought enough food for our immediate family and that Rachel needed to rest, not host a dinner party. They left right after dropping everything off. I texted everyone else and told them not to come. I specifically texted Phil and said Rachel needs to rest tonight, let's do dinner another time. Literally 5 minutes later, I see his car pulling into our driveway. My parents were still in their car about to leave and they talked to him through the window. I could see my mom shaking her head and pointing back at the house. She was clearly telling him that Rachel needed to be resting. He came in anyway. Rachel was passed out on the couch in her pajamas. She'd taken pain medication and could barely keep her eyes open. Phil walked in and immediately started talking loudly about his day and asking the kids questions. He was just making his presence known like he always does. I asked him quietly if he wanted to come back tomorrow when Rachel was feeling better. He looked at me and said, I just lost my wife. I need my family right now. What was I supposed to say to that? So we all sat down for dinner. Rachel stayed on the couch sleeping. After we finished eating, Rachel slowly pushed herself up from the couch. She was bent over holding her stomach and asked, does anyone want apple or pumpkin pie? Both pies were gifts from neighbors. Phil immediately said, I'll have apple and can you warm it up for me? I watched Rachel, hunched over in pain, shuffle into the kitchen to serve him. My face must have looked insane because when Rachel saw me, she whispered, don't say anything. It's fine. She heated up the pie and brought it to him. He ate the whole thing while Rachel laid back down on the couch. Then Phil came into the kitchen where I was cleaning up and said, you cook and you clean. You're a man who does it all. I didn't respond. I just kept washing dishes. He said, what, you have nothing to say? I turned around and looked at him. Yeah, I have something to say. If any woman, especially your daughter who just had surgery 24 hours ago, asks if she can get you something, the answer should be no. The answer should be, what can I do for you? I understand you just lost your wife, but Rachel is about to travel several states away to help you move into your new house even though she shouldn't be lifting anything. So if you ask her to do things she physically can't handle, you and I are going to have serious problems. Phil left about 10 minutes later without saying goodbye. When Rachel asked what happened, I told her I'd made it clear he needed to stop treating her like his personal servant. She got upset and said I shouldn't have been so harsh on him. But 3 days later when they were moving and Phil tried to get Rachel to carry heavy boxes upstairs, she finally told him no and called me to come help instead.